Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon. Checking my mic. Is it okay? Or can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So again, Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon. So for today, we will go straight to the first topic. Share with you the slide. Okay, so the first topic is about the introduction and also the overview of the overall financial system, specifically the financial system of Malaysia. Because as I mentioned, I think during our introductory meeting last week, our financial system or Malaysian financial system basically quite unique in a way whereby um, the structure uh, caters for both conventional and Islamic financial system. Yes, therefore, uh, yeah, it's more in terms of offerings or in terms of products available to the customers might be different from other countries. Okay, so here you will be exposed to the what is financial system is all about, what are the participants under the financial system. Here you can see we have the financial markets and also the financial institutions. So you will see afterwards the difference between what is financial markets, what is financial institutions. And when we talk about these two broad categories of market, you will see two different entities or two different governing bodies that manage or supervise these two markets, which is the financial markets and the financial instruments. And then after that, we will discuss a bit. Okay, we will not go into detail, okay, for every element under the financial market and financial institution because each elements will be discussed further in respective topics. Okay, but we will discuss a bit about the functions, and lastly, we'll touch a bit about the Islamic banking, which is one of the element that differs in our financial system as compared to the rest. So yeah, as I mentioned, the Malaysian financial system comprises a very considered diversified range of institutions, the companies that serve multiple products to the customers. And as you aware, if you compare the customer punya requirement 20, 30 years ago dengan compare dengan customer yang kita ada sekarang, obviously the demand, the needs will be different. Current generations of customers have more complex requirements. So therefore, the financial systems needs to be evolved. Okay, so they can come out dengan new products to the customers. So that's why in recent years, you can see some of the products dah jadi digital. We have more uh, modern looking products. Okay. Kita tak ada specific topic dalam ni yang akan covers the elements of, for example, like financial technologies, fintech. So the fintech tu pun sebenarnya salah satu elemen that try to cater the complex needs of the domestic economy. So yeah, as I mentioned juga tadi, financial system here in Malaysia consists of two, both conventional and Islamic, and these two financial system coexist and operates in parallel. So they're running side by side, both conventional and also Islamic. So this is the structure that you need to, I don't want you to memorize, I don't want you to remember, tapi you need to understand and you need to visualize benda ni. Okay, apa yang kita akan belajar throughout the semesters is actually based on this structure je. Okay, structure of the Malaysian financial system. Okay, and you can see it's split into two. Okay, sepatutnya lah bank negara ni mungkin sepatutnya ada kat bawah, but if you notice saya punya intro tadi, we have financial markets and then we have satu lagi kat sini, financial institution. Okay, so on the left hand side here we have financial markets, and on the right hand side is the financial institutions. Okay, so in short kita panggil dia FI lah, financial institutions. So who govern these two particular markets? For financial markets, it is governed by Securities Commission. Okay, ataupun in short kita panggil dia SC lah, Securities Commission. Okay, whereas untuk financial institution, it is governed by Bank Negara. Ya, ataupun santai kita panggil dia BNM lah, Bank Negara Malaysia. Okay, so obviously Bank Negara, location-wise, it will be in the center of Kuala Lumpur. Siapa yang biasa naik komuter, we have one commuter station, dipanggil Bank Negara, station Bank Negara. So yeah, it's very close to Dataran Merdeka, quite nearby juga kat situ. So that's the place ataupun the location of Bank Negara. And Bank Negara govern these two particular system. We have the banking system and also the non-banking system. BFI ni non-bank financial intermediary. Right, and for Securities Commission, okay, the location is in Bukit Kiara. Right, kalau Bank Negara tadi dekat KL, but for Securities Commission, it is in Bukit Kiara. Kuala Lumpur juga, cuma it's not really in the center, it's slightly outskirts. Bukit Kiara ni just nearby to National Science Centre, Pusat Sains Negara, just next to Pusat Sains Negara. So under financial markets, we have 4 different markets here. Ada money market, okay, capital market, derivatives, and offshore. Okay, so under money markets, we have the money market itself, and also forex, foreign exchange. So one criteria that you need to know when we talk about money market is this market, yang money market ni, involved with short-term instruments. Okay, short-term instruments. So what does it mean by short-term instruments? The products ataupun the instruments that being traded in money markets, dia punya maturity is less than 1 year. Okay, maturity dia less than 1 year. Itu definition of money market. Must transact for short-term instruments, okay, and dia punya maturity not more than 1 year. Okay, so it can be from one night, okay, from one day ataupun one night punya transactions up until 12 months ataupun 1 year. Okay, that is money market. So ada dua tadi ada money market itself and also the forex market. Okay, and then the second market is known as capital market. Okay, capital market. So capital market dia transact slightly longer terms instruments. So for capital market, kita panggil dia medium to long term lah. Medium to long term, and the transaction usually will be more than 1 year. Okay, more than 1 year. Some of the markets doesn't have maturity pun. Okay, but if there's any maturity, for example macam bond, So for bond, dia punya range usually between 5 to 40 years. So very long. Right. So for equity market selalunya there's no opportunity selalunya for equity. No opportunity. So equity, as you know, dalam bahasa mudahnya ataupun the more common terms used in general, this is where the share market, okay, the share market is being traded. Di bursa saham, kalau kat Malaysia kita ada bursa Malaysia kan, so that is actually our equity market, where company trade their shares with the public from the investors. That's equity markets. For bond markets, is actually a tool ataupun instruments for companies to raise funds using long-term instruments. That's why the period between 5 to 4 years. As I mentioned tadi, I will not go into detail now. Why? Sebab kalau you tengok dalam syllabus ni, the first topic is about the introduction. The second topic is about interest. Okay. Starting from topic 3 onwards, we akan cover every element of the markets. For example, topic 3, kita akan discuss about the money market itself. And then the capital markets. Topic tadi apa? 3, 4, topic 5, derivatives. And for this semester, I add one more topic, which is offshore. Yeah, I just decided to incorporate offshore sebab ikut dalam market ada, tapi dalam syllabus tak ada. So, I rasa you guys need to know about the offshore market as well. So that's why for this semester, I just add one more topic. So, kalau you dah download the performa, you can see lah, ada satu lagi topik baru, which is the offshore market. Okay, so setiap satu elemen ni will be discussed in respective topics. Okay, so that's one side. The left-hand side here refers to the financial markets. Okay, so every markets have different reason ataupun different different function lah to the customers, right? So for bankers, for example, that require short-term liquidity, they boleh go to the money market to balance the liquidity, for example. So for companies who wants to raise fund in long terms, they boleh guna capital markets to issue shares ataupun issue bonds. Right. So for companies that want to manage their risk, can use derivatives contohnya. So setiap satu market ni ada function dia. Okay, and the detail of the functions, how it works, the mechanisms, we will discuss in respective topics as I mentioned. So macam saya cakap tadi lah, this would be chapter 3. Ni topic 4 contohnya. For 5, 6. Okay. And during the topic, so kita akan discuss details. Okay, but for today, kita akan focus a bit more on the banking side. Okay, kalau tadi financial markets, here on the right hand side, yang under bank negara ni kita panggil dia financial institutions, FIs. But in terms of FIs, we have two separate entities which is known as the banking system and also the non-banking side, ataupun kita panggil dia NBFI, in short NBFI, non-banking financial intermediary. So another thing yang membezakan between financial market and financial institutions, this side on the left hand side ni mostly traded by non-individuals, mostly companies lah. Walaupun ada individual yang boleh, contohnya macam equity market, ada je individual yang boleh invest. Okay, tapi majority players will be companies. So for us individuals, some kita akan trade more on the right hand side. Okay, can you guys mute? Gangguan. So for the right hand side, kita ada banking dengan non-banking system asset tadi. So we start off dengan the most common ataupun in terms of the numbers yang paling banyak sekali available to customers is what we call as a commercial bank. Okay, commercial bank. So commercial bank ni, I think every one of us have at least run ada transactions dengan commercial banks in our life so far. Okay, sama ada dari segi depositnya, we have accounts, savings account contohnya. Usually kita akan buka in commercial bank. Okay, so for the usage of every individuals, okay, selalunya kita akan go to the commercial bank for our transactions. Sama ada transaction, deposits, if you want to borrow money to buy a car, for example. Everything will be done in commercial banks. Okay, so that's the common ataupun the most visited institution lah among the rest. Okay, commercial banks. Okay, so here in Malaysia kita ada about 20 odd banks in the country. Kalau they consider as anchor bank, kita ada 8. Okay, so the detail nanti aja. And as I mentioned earlier tadi, as you know, our Malaysian financial system has two system kan, the Islamic and also the conventional. So for commercial bank mostly covers the conventional elements. So for the Islamic parts, we have a dedicated institution known as Islamic banks. Okay, hanya commercial bank je yang akan split between Islamic and conventional. Okay, from banking system lah. So Islamic bank is actually technically is a commercial bank juga. Okay, Islamic bank is actually commercial bank, but they have a different act, akta yang berbeza. Right? And on top of that, in terms of the offerings, actually is more or less the same as commercial banks. In fact, some of the banks atau the branches, they share dia punya infrastructure lah. Infrastructure dia share. Maknanya kalau kita pergi dekat satu branch, they may offer both the conventional dengan Islamic. Okay, cuma dia akan channel to a different accounts lah, the conventional and Islamic. Okay, so next, ini the next type of banking system is known as investment bank. So investment bank, unlike commercial, investment bank tak banyak branch. Okay, in fact, investment bank in the country hanya ada selalunya in town, bandar-bandar besar. Okay, here in Tanjung Malim, obviously we don't have any investment bank. So the nearest here either go to KL ataupun Ipoh. That would be the nearest investment bank available here. Okay, sebab memang most of the time dia hanya ada di big cities. So ini kalau in Semenanjung, for example, besides KL, there will be in JB, for example, kat Ipoh, maybe Melaka or Seremban, maybe some of the banks may have branches in the Seremban or Melaka. And Penang, obviously, they will have that as well. Okay. And in Sabah and Sarawak, maybe they will have branches in KK and Kuching. Right, for the investment bank. And again, the function will be not the same as commercial banks. Yes, investment bank cater for different functions. And commercial bank and investment bank will be discussed in respective topics juga nanti. Kalau tak salah, commercial bank will be in chapter 7. Kalau tak salah, 7. And investment bank have their own topic. I think around the 10 for investment bank. Okay, and for others, it's actually like a bank, but usually they don't operate at full capacity. So contoh-contoh banking system yang consider ada others ni, kita panggil dia representative office contohnya. Okay, representative office ni is actually a bank ataupun overseas bank. The overseas bank that don't operate they don't operate here in Malaysia as a full bank, full-fledged bank. Tapi dia buka representative office. Representative office ni apa? It's just like a wakil lah, wakil nama pun representative kan. So dia hanya cater for clients yang dah sedia ada, existing clients. So for example like I said selalunya rep office ni is from overseas. Katakanlah one bank from UK, they have client who own a business in Malaysia. So dia dah ada account dekat negara asal dia in UK for example. So they don't want to open new accounts in Malaysia. What they do, but dia ada rep office kat sini, so dia hanya berurusan dengan the existing bank dia dekat UK tapi melalui representative office kat sini. So this representative office will entertain the existing client je. Dia tak akan buka new accounts for new customers. So kalau ada new customer nak buka, they have to go to the existing banks yang ada lah, not this rep office. So rep office ni hanya cater for existing customers from overseas. Okay, so that is part of banking system juga lah. So that's one side. And then we have on the right hand side, the very end here, we have the NBFI sebut tadi, non-bank financial intermediary. We have the first one, provident and pension funds. Okay, in Malaysia, we have two very prominent provident and pension funds. We have PBF. Okay, Employee Provident Funds ataupun dalam bahasa kita panggil KWSP. Okay, kumpulan wang simpanan pekerja. So that's one section. And for government, the money will be kept AWAP. Okay. Dan wang awam. This is for public servants ataupun government servants. So the money for pensions will be parked under this fund, and they are part of provident and pension funds. So for these institutions, function they obviously to help ataupun to assist employees, okay, semua tenaga kerja in the country to save their money for their retirement. Okay, so provident and pension fund, nama pension kan. So this is basically funds for retirement. So therefore, the money will be deducted from everyone's salary, termasuk either ETF ataupun KWAP ni. And their functions is to invest our money. Okay, your money will be deducted kan every month. And these institutions, ETF ataupun KWAP, will invest our money with the intention to generate more returns for their contributors. Contributors ni semua pekerja lah. Sesiapa yang pernah bekerja ada potongan EPF for example, your money will be part of these institutions. And they will be one of the biggest investors in the country. So dia ada duit yang banyak, amount of funds yang besar, and this money will be invested in various investment. Okay, so that's the function of it. Bukan some commercial banks. And we have a special institutions, the next one kat sini, which is known as DFI, okay, Development Finance Institutions, in short DFI. Okay, so Development Finance Institution is a specialized, kita panggil dia specialized institutions set up by the government. Okay, so for DFI, every banks, every institutions ada function dia to cater a specific organizations ataupun specific segment of the dalam negara kita dari segi business ni. By the way, DFI memang cater selalunya for businesses. So contohnya, one of the largest DFI, Development Finance Institution in the country is SME Bank. SME Bank. Walaupun nama dia bank, ada belakang tu kan SME Bank. They are not commercial banks. They are not normal banks yang kita tahu selama ni. Okay, they are DFI, Development Finance. So their function is to help, to assist SME, small and medium enterprises, if they requires funding. Okay? The company yang falls into the categories of SME, if they requires funding, they require fund basically, they can go to DFI untuk dapatkan pinjaman. Itu satulah SME. Dia ada lagi. Contohnya Agro Bank. Okay, again, DFI ni kebanyakannya ada perkataan bank dalam dia punya nama, but they are not commercial banks. Okay, so you later on bila kita go into detail what is the difference between commercial and DFI, you can see lah the difference between the two. Okay, so kalau Agro Bank tadi dia cater more to companies ataupun operations that requires funding related to agricultural businesses. Okay, company-company terlibat dengan agro dan dengan agro bank. So setiap satu DFI ni ada dia punya, kita panggil dia mandate ataupun yang government punya segment lah. So macam SME Bank covers SME, Agro Bank covers company yang related dengan agricultural. Kalau bank pembangunan more on industry based institution for example. So dia adalah target client dia. Okay. Alright. This is quite outdated lah in terms of savings institution. Kita dah tak ada, kalau tak salah, we don't have savings institution anymore. We used to have BSN kat sini, Bank Simpanan Nasional. Okay. But since I don't know, tak ingat berapa lama dah, this BSN dah masuk dalam DFI. Okay, dia dah part of the other finance BSN. And next we have insurance companies. So insurance ni termasuklah, as you know, I'm not sure you all dah belajar insurance planning or not. First semester ni belajar. Insurance, we have two different side of business. Kita ada life. Okay, and we have general, the other one. Okay, general. So what's the difference? Life insurance just cover insurance nyawa je. Okay, anything else, okay, selain daripada nyawa, will be part under general business of insurance. Okay, so maknanya kalau macam contoh, you have medical cards, it will be general. If you want to purchase car insurance, home insurance, semuanya masuk dalam general. Okay, so life against the rest lah basically. And besides that, okay, under insurance ni juga sebenarnya kita boleh letak satu lagi which is takaful operators. Okay, takaful operators pun sama. Okay, cuma untuk life dia tak panggil life, dia panggil family takaful. Then we have general takaful. Okay, so function ataupun the products offerings again similar macam banks, they offer more or less the same. So maknanya apa yang ada conventional, they might offer the same ataupun similar products via takaful. And any other institutions yang terlibat ataupun falls under bank negara punya jurisdiction yang tak termasuk dalam kategori yang sebut tadi will be part under financial intermediaries. Okay. So ini termasuklah fund managers, brokers, okay, semua masuk ke dalam others. So in a nutshell, the whole thing here lah you akan belajar the whole semester. Okay, hopefully you will open up your dimension ataupun your horizon of financial system. Jangan nampak bila cakap financial system ni kita nampak bank. So bank tu salah satu je of the functions. Jadi kalau you tengok tu, yeah, there's actually a lot more options ataupun participants available in the financial system. Okay, and as I mentioned tadi, not every country have as similar as us, especially when we talk about the Islamic conventional horizon. Okay, some countries may have mostly the same, contohnya, or market capital, and so on. Okay, when we talk about Islamic offerings, so may be different. Okay, ataupun tak offer. Okay, Any questions so far? Give me 1 second. Okay, so if you go to my guru later on, we have uploaded the performa for this semester lah. So we have two academics yang akan go through this topic. Anyway, as I mentioned tadi, we are now in topic number 1. So next topic nanti is topic number 2, about related to interest. Okay, so this is where, based on the structure I cerita tadi, we have the money market in topic 3, and then capital market, and then derivatives. And I've added the offshore market this semester. Okay. So this whole financial market punya side kita cover from money market, capital, derivatives, and also offshore. So that's financial markets. On the right hand side yang financial institution tadi, kita tak go through detail lah untuk yang lain. We just focus on the banks, the commercial banks. So next topic is about commercial banks. And on top of the commercial bank itself, kita akan go through the management and profitability. Okay. Then we have the regulations, and this regulation is not only for banks, it termasuklah for insurance takaful, for BFIs, for investment bank as well. Okay. And then investment bank is another topic. And lastly, investment company. So investment company ni masuk dalam kategori of others lah, financial intermediaries. So yang lain tu kita tak cerita in detail, cuma kita akan go through in topic number 1 je. Okay. That will be the main difference this semester. I just added offshore market. Okay, so in Malaysia, we just have one offshore market, which is in Labuan. Okay, any question? Sebenarnya masih tak fully covered from talking. So I was in have to bring. So ada soalan tak? You can type if you want in the chat if there's any question. Or you can unmute for a while just to ask questions. Alright, so moving forward. So hopefully you get the idea of the financial system. Alright. One of the activities that I will use, I will conduct afterwards. Not today lah basically, tapi selepas habis topik number 1 nanti. There will be one quiz. Okay, there will be one quiz. I tak letak soalan dalam my guru. I will post the question in my guru, and it will covers generally, just briefly lah, all of these elements. Okay, the financial markets and also the financial institutions. So hopefully, um, you can grab the ideas lah, the idea for every functions of every respective institution for this particular financial system. So reverse. We starts off sebenarnya walaupun ada cerita in detail di bawah not detail lah, briefly the institutions. We have to look at the governing bodies first, okay, always. So in Malaysia, under financial institutions, I starts off dengan yang kanan dulu, financial institutions. Have the very top, the central bank. Okay, every country in the world will have a central bank. Setiap negara akan ada satu central bank. Dalam bahasa Melayu kita panggil bank pusat. So here in Malaysia, it is known as Bank Negara. Bank Negara Malaysia ataupun as I mentioned tadi, in short letak dia BNM. So it is at the apex. Apex ni, as you know, at the very top of the financial structure. So function dia ada banyak. Kita akan go through what are the functions of central bank. Generally, whatever related to monetary policy, financial structure, financial system of the country, semuanya digovern by central bank. Okay, so this is one website that you need to go once in a while, at least for this semester. www.bnm.gov.my. Okay, so you have to familiarize with the websites about for this course, banking and financial institutions. We don't have a proper textbooks. Okay, we may have banking books, financial system books, but selalunya buku ni caters for international financial system, which is not similar to us. Right, so nak tak nak, we have to rely on the original source. So where to get the original source is from Bank Negara. Okay, because they will come up with a lot of guidelines, a lot of handouts related to financial system. So that's why this website will be very, very useful. In fact, most of my slides pun bila di-compile is from the original documents of Bank Negara. Okay. So Bank Negara principal objective is to make sure ini kita perkataan the bank. So the bank here refers to obviously Bank Negara. Okay. The objective of the bank is to promote monetary stability and financial stability, conduciveness for the investors, so to the welfare of the citizens like us, and obviously dia akan mengharapkan sustainable growth, okay, of the Malaysian economy. So the government of Malaysia rely on central bank to assist them with a lot of things in terms of financial stability. Okay, financial stability. So here are the main objectives of Bank Negara, okay, as defined in the CBA. Okay, CBA here refers to Central Bank of Malaysia Act. So dalam akta tu dia dah specify these are the objectives, okay, ataupun function juga of Bank Negara. Why Bank Negara ni ada diwujudkan? Because of this reason. Okay, reason number one, issue currency. Okay, the sole issuer, okay, dalam negara kita hanya satu institusi je yang dibenarkan untuk keluarkan ataupun to print our money, which is Bank Negara. So they will issue the currency on our behalf ataupun on the government's behalf. And on top of issuing, is what issue dua ni bukan main print je. They have to have a proper reserves. Okay. Kalau you belajar ekonomi last time, bila kita tak print money, it must be backed by gold. Last time, the money will be backed by gold. So you ada gold yang certain value of gold, you boleh print equivalent of it last time. But now, okay, the money floated in the market, after duit yang you ada in your pocket, in your wallet, okay, the government hanya boleh print based on reserves. Okay, reserves. So therefore, if our reserve drop in values, automatically our value of currency will drop as well. So that's why function pertama bank negara is to make sure the reserve ni cukup untuk to sustain our value of money, so currency lah. So as you know, in Malaysia, the currency used is ringgit Malaysia, RM. And kalau coins tu kita panggil sen, okay? Not dollar and cent. Kalau US panggil dollar and cent, dan kalau UK panggil pound and pence. Okay? Here kita panggil ringgit, RM and sen. Alright. So that's function number one. Okay? To issue currency, and also to ensure that the government punya reserves ataupun the national reserves will be kept accordingly. And selalunya reserve ni dia akan maintain in a foreign currency. Okay, sebab jaga kita punya value lah. Selalu dia akan simpan dekat overseas. Okay, second function. It act as a banker. Okay, bayangkan kalau kita pergi bank. So, bank negara akan jadi banker, okay, kepada government. Okay, banker to the government. So, kalau kita tak cukup duit, kita akan pergi bank. Kalau kita ada duit lebih, kita akan go to bank juga untuk deposit. Kalau kita tak cukup duit, kita akan pergi bank to borrow. So similarly, the government akan go to central bank. Dia tak pergi bank biasalah, dia tak, untuk government tak duit, dia tak pergi bank. Dia akan go to the bank negara, to the central bank, and they will be the advisor and also agent to the government. Okay, so imagine whatever bank can help atau assist us, so central bank will play the same role to the government. So ini kat sini, if the government has excess cash, dia boleh salurkan kepada bank negara for deposits. And if they have deficit, kalau dia tak cukup, they will go to the bank negara juga and ask them to assist them to get funding. Kita nanti cerita detail lah macam mana nak dapatkan funding for government. So that's number two, right? As a bank and financial advisor to the government. Objective number three, to promote monetary stability and sound financial structure. Okay, so ni more on policies lah. Okay, policies. So dia akan come out dengan policies to make sure monetary stability and also the financial structure ni sentiasa protected. Okay. So again, detail pasal policy pun kita tak sesuai buat masa ni, but we have monetary policies, we have guidelines, contohnya related to OPR, policy rates. So that are among the things that bank negara do in order to protect, to make sure that the monetary system, financial system is stable all the time. Okay, function number four. Okay, to promote reliable and efficient smooth operation of payment system. Okay, so payment system is one of the main things sebenarnya nowadays. Okay, I think every one of you pernah involved in online transactions, shopping online, transfer duit online, so contohnya lah. So all of those payment from one party to another party mesti melalui kita panggil dia payment system atau payment settlement system. Okay, one party yang nak transfer and another party yang nak terima duit tu, mesti ada sistem dia, takkan main. Sebab kita tak transfer physical money, kita transfer online kan. So that system, walaupun kita tak nampak as user, kita tak nampak, tapi the system tu must be maintained and supervised by a certain institution. So siapa yang supervise? Obviously bank negara. Okay, walaupun the players ataupun the one yang manage is the banks, but bank negara akan make sure the system ni always running smoothly. So dia kena sentiasa smooth and also reliable lah yang paling penting. Okay, reliable. Sebab kalau tak reliable, tak ada siapa nak pakai. You transfer duit tak sampai, lepas tu hilang. Will you use that system again? Obviously not. So that's why bank negara kena make sure sistem yang ada in terms of payment must be reliable, so that user akan jadi lagi trusted lah, okay, dengan that system. So untuk payment system macam-macam lah. I think kalau sebelum ni kita ada gyro, okay, ataupun short full panggil interbank gyro, okay, interbank gyro, IBG. This is the old way. Sekarang pun ada lagi kalau yang nak guna IBG, tapi I can consider it as outdated. Okay, imagine you ada account in bank A and you want to transfer to another account in bank B. Okay, last time kita ada IBG, interbank gyro, whereby they have cut off time, pukul 11 pagi, pukul 5 petang, something like that. So kalau you transfer before that, the payment will be transferred to another account at a specified time. Saya bagi example lah, last time if you want to transfer from bank A to bank B, kalau you transfer before 11 in the morning, okay, duit tu akan transfer to the account by 5 PM. Okay, bila bank tutup by 5 tu, barulah duit tu transfer. Okay, tapi kalau you lewat, you transfer after 11 katakan, the money will be processed the next day. So you akan dapat duit tu esok. Okay, so one of the downside of it, it's slow. But nowadays, kalau you perasan, if you go to your online bank, kita ada panggil instant transfer, whereby you can transfer from one account to another account in a different bank. Kalau bank yang sama memang immediate, but different banks, you can use instant transfer. So ada dua option lah. So obviously people nowadays akan prefer instant, cuma bezanya is in terms of fees. Okay, instant transfer same lah. Okay, but nowadays I think most of the time, 99% people will go for instant. Okay, because it's faster and it's also considered cheap. Walaupun IBG tu lagi cheaper sebenarnya. But yeah. So all of this is part of the payment system. So bank negara kena maintain. Right? And lastly, number 5, influence credit situation to the advantage of Malaysia. So credit situation selalunya melibatkan, again, dia similar macam policy, tapi policy dia specific to credit. Okay, financing. So they will come up with policies related to the credit situation in the country. It's about people requires credit. Okay, credit is requirement juga lah for the economy cycle. Okay, but if you tak maintain properly, credit can bring down the whole economy. Okay, so kalau nak bagi example, dulu kalau lah the government tak control the credit situation, it will come one time ago dekat US, kita ada satu krisis dipanggil subprime crisis. Okay, kalau nak baca ini, nanti boleh Google je subprime crisis. This is where in the US, by the way, States, whereby their government doesn't control the credit very well, whereby dia senang je orang nak pinjam duit, dia bagi credit very easily, and when we don't filter our customers in terms of credit, there's a potential of credit risk. Ada potensi customer tak mampu bayar balik. They cannot afford to pay back. So if too many people cannot afford to pay back, this is what happened in the US, subprime masa itu. A lot of people cannot pay back. So bila bank dah bagi pinjam, customer tak dapat bayar balik, so it will affect the government punya cash flows. Right? So therefore, bila cash flow tu tak go in cycle, it will affect, bring down the economy. So that's why one of the function bank negara juga is to make sure that the credit situation tu manageable. Okay, so that's the 5 objectives atau function juga lah for central bank of Malaysia. So in order to achieve all of the mandates I mentioned tadi, the bank is vested with the powers, with the various laws. Okay, ni kita akan discuss nanti law ni. Berapa tadi ya? Uh, in terms of regulations and supervision for all the banks and non-banks. Okay, kita ada dua parties, the banking institutions and also the non-banking. So banks ni, saya kalau ingat tadi kita ada commercial bank, Islamic bank, investment bank. Kalau non-bank ni masuklah EPF, insurance, PFI. Okay, so all of this ada akta masing-masing. Walaupun ada yang share, and you give power to bank negara to basically to kedua kat sini regulate and supervise. Okay, and bank also administer the country's foreign exchange regulations. Okay. If you remember in 1997-98 during our financial crisis, it started off with the forex. I have to show you the line. It started off with forex, okay, whereby our money and our forex market have been hit by outsiders, and the effect our economy because of our currency punya value diminished, menurun value of currency menurun. So masa tu kita tak ada banyak regulations related to that, and we've learned from that event, kita belajar, and we improvise the system. So that's why salah satu function here is to administer countries forex regulation. So supaya especially tak this event 9798 ini tak berulang lagi dah. It will not happen again. Because of that, bank negara kena make sure the regulation will be in place to protect our foreign exchange. So apa yang kita tak buat dulu during 9798, kita dah put into new regulations, and they have to supervise and they have to make sure the regulation up to date in order to avoid this to happen again. Right. So this table I get from Bank Negara Malaysia. So okay, but this is the extract basically the information. So here you can see all the institutions under banking and non-banking institutions. So first we have the line. The first one, 4 ni is all banking lah. Yang lain kat bawah ni non-bank lah. Okay, so commercial banks we have 26 altogether, 8 Malaysian control and 18 foreign control. Okay, I think I need to share juga lah. Okay, bear with me 1 second. Share with you. Okay. So this is the Bank Negara punya website. Okay, cuma ni bukan main page dia lah, ada aku straight to the link under the financial stability. Kita tengok macam-macam ada dalam ni. Okay, so on. I will mention financial market itu ada kat dalam. But anyway, here are the list of licensed financial institutions in the country. So the numbers yang I dapat tadi tu, yang summary I gathered from here, ada summarizekan daripada sini. So let's say kita tengok commercial bank dulu. So here are the list of commercial banks in the country. In the one, kalau you remember masa our first meeting and what you done dalam group tu kan nampak, I asked you to choose one commercial banks kan, one commercial banks. Since we have dah berapa sekarang, as of today kita ada 39 yang registered. So I cakap sendiri ada 4 orang kan. So most likely kita akan ada about 9 groups kalau tak salah. So you need to choose any of these sampai 26 ni. Okay, but as I mentioned masa tu I prioritaskan local. So L ownership yang L ni shows local owned. When I talk local owned is local owned is not necessarily meaning dia 100% owned by Malaysians. Sometimes other bank ni dia punya ownership dia from from outsiders. Okay, so dia punya owner tu maknanya foreigners. Okay, but majority, when we talk about local ownership ni, majority owned by Malaysians. So in Malaysia, we have Malaysian owned commercial banks, kita ada 8. Right? Kita ada Afin, Alliance, M-Bank, right? And then we have CIMB, then we have Hong Leong, Malayan Banking ataupun Maybank, okay, Public Bank, RHB Bank. That's it, 8 banks, 8 locally owned commercial banks. Right? And the rest of it, maknanya kalau sini ada 26, so maknanya 18 yang lain considered as a foreign owned bank. Okay, so macam starting from BNP Paribas, Bank of America, Bank of China. And bear in mind, bank-bank lain ni tak semestinya dia ada banyak branches. Okay, you pernah nampak Bank America kat Malim. Yalah. In fact, Bank America ni I think dia ada satu je branch kat KL. They don't have any branches in other place. Okay, tapi kalau macam for example HSBC, nationwide dia ada. Tapi still HSBC selalunya dia caters for big cities. Right? Ada OCBC, Standard Chartered. Okay. One of the oldest bank in the country is actually Standard Chartered. Okay, Standard Chartered. And HSBC lah antara bank awal in the country. So the rest are considered quite new. Okay. So that's commercial bank. Okay. Next is Islamic banks. Okay, so a total of 16, and we have 11 Malaysian control institutions. Okay, ataupun local owned majority lah, and only 5 yang foreign owned. Okay. So for Islamic banks, dia punya structure, okay, dia ada 2 structure. Kita panggil dia full-fledged and subsidiary. So what does it mean? Full-fledged here means dia purely Islamic finance atau Islamic bank. Okay, when I said full-fledged Islamic bank, it means dia hanya ada Islamic bank, dia tak ada conventional. Contoh, kita ada bank Islam. Okay, ada our university use bank Islam, it's our main banker. So yeah, bank Islam is one example of full-fledged. Another full-fledged bank would be Bank Muamalat, for example. It's a full-fledged one. Dia tak ada conventional bank. Whereas kalau subsidiary here refers to bank with the conventional companies, conventional subsidiary companies atau conventional parent companies. So example paling simple Maybank lah. Kita ada Maybank biasa, Maybank. And the one is Maybank Islamic. Okay, CIMB Islamic. Okay, Public Islamic. So those are subsidiary. Okay, so structure wise itu je lah beza dia. Satu yang memang purely Islamic, satu lagi dia subsidiary. So in total we have 11. Okay, 11 yang Malaysian owned. So if you remember I said tadi, in commercial banks we have 8. Okay, this is important. Dalam commercial bank kita ada 8, kita panggil dia anchor. Okay, anchor banks. Okay, I go through tadi you semua yang dalam commercial bank yang ada 8 local tadi yang Affinnya, Alliance, CIMB, RHB, Public, Maybank, M. Okay. All those 8 akan ada Islamic Bank subsidiary dia. So bila kita Malaysia own ada 11, maknanya out of these 8, dia ada 8 subsidiary. So ada 3 yang lain tu disedia sebagai full fledged. So maknanya kat sini, kalau 11 ni, full fledged ada 3, dan subsidiary ada 8. Okay, so the full fledged includes Bank Islam, Bank Muamalat, and we have another one bank, which is known as, dengar lah MBSB Bank. MBSB. So here are the list 16 up to date juga lah, main notes tu. 16 Islamic banks in the country. So yang L ni local, kalau berasa jaga lah. Ada Afid, Alliance, M, okay, yang Bank Islam, Bank Muamalat are the full fledged. We have CIMB, Hong Leong. This is the one. This is yang nombor 11 ni is the latest lah, the latest participant in the country. Okay, MBSB Bank. Maybank, so yang foreign owned semua adalah, tak semua, some again ada yang full fledged, ada yang subsidiary juga. So yang full fledged termasuklah RRG. It is a foreign owned from Saudi Arabia. We have Kuwait Finance House, KFH. Okay, nama pun Kuwait kan, so it's from Kuwait. And the rest are subsidiary of conventional banks. So contoh foreign, kita ada HSBC, kalau kita ada HSBC biasa, and then we have HSBC Amanah. Then we have OCBC, the normal OCBC Bank, and OCBC Alamin. Then we have Standard Chartered Bank, we have Standard Chartered Study. So untuk yang foreign dia ada nama tambahan. Kalau Malaysian, kalau berpesan dia hanya tambah perkataan Islamic. Tapi for the foreign, dia implement the additional names. Macam contohnya Amanah, Al-Amin, Sadiq. Okay, that's the approach difference between local and foreign banks. Okay, so kat sini kalau you nak pecah, so for full fledged, dia ada 3 juga. Ada 2, sorry. So ni 2. Full fledged. And subsidiary ada 3. Okay, so that's the Islamic parts. For international Islamic banks, we only have one. So what's the difference between Islamic banks and international Islamic banks? The international Islamic banks is not for individuals, it's for companies. And one of the main difference would be they can transact in foreign currency. Dia boleh guna foreign currency. So here dulu ada banyak kan. We used to have 3 international Islamic banks, but now we only have one. It is a foreign owned, a foreign control institution, just only one. Okay. So it's from Indonesia. The bank is Indonesian owned. PT Bank Muamalat Indonesia. Just one. Okay. And next is investment bank. So remember the 8 as I mentioned earlier. That's why I letak the 8 anchor ni. Again, similar like Islamic banks. The investment banks, kita ada 11 kan. And all local owned. Okay, but out of these 11, 8 is the anchor yang sama. Okay, whatever we have 8 offshore banks and local tadi, they have their investment banks. So maknanya ada 3 yang full-fledged investment banks. Okay, so again kalau tak perasan nama dia lah, kita ada Afin tadi. Jadi dia joint venture dengan Singapore punya bank, Kuang. Afin Kuang punya investment banks. And we have Alliance Investment. Kalau ada M Bank, ada M Islamic, dia ada M Investment. Dia ada CIMB Investment, Hong Leong Investment, Bank Investment, Public and RHB Investment. So the word yang dia tukar hanya perkataan investment bank. So the three full-fledged is KAF Investment Bank, Kenanga Investment Bank, and MIDF Amanah. So there are three full-fledged yang hanya ada investment banks, and the rest, the 8 I mentioned earlier, are all from the same anchor banks yang I mentioned earlier. Okay, so that's the banking side, okay, the banking institution side. Next, we want to look at the non-banking side. Okay, so we have the insurance companies. Okay, we have 14 in total, 4 Malaysian owned, 10 foreign owned, and we have general. As I mentioned tadi, awal tadi dah bagi tahu. In Malaysia, the insurance are run into two separate business, the life insurance and the general insurance. So life just focus on life. Kami pun life insurance company. So memang fokus on life saja, insurance nyawa. Okay, whereas other than life, dia akan masuk dalam general. Okay, so for life mostly kalau tengok player dia, mostly foreign, 10, hanya 4 je local. For general, almost even 10 Malaysian owned, 12 foreign. So to give you some ideas, let's look at life business. Okay, so macam AIA, for example, is one of the oldest insurance company in the country, AIA. Okay, some of the banks yang anchor tadi pun ada dia punya insurance arms, macam Afin tadi, dia joint venture dengan AXA. It's a international company, tapi bila dia letak sini local bermaksud majority shareholders are from Afin. Okay, and this is not Alliance, this is Allianz. It's a German company. So Allianz is a foreign owned. Okay, and MetLife. Okay, you nampak ada pada M, you know is part of the M Bank punya companies. However, when they label it as foreign, bermaksud the MetLife ni is the majority shareholder. So maknanya M ni just minority. Then we have Etika. As you all know, Etika ini is part of Maybank. Cuma dia tak guna perkataan Maybank, Maybank Insurance tak. They use Etika as their branding for Maybank. Then dia ada Gibraltar BSN. Okay, BSN, as you know, is a local bank. But since they label as F, as the foreign, maknanya the Gibraltar company is the majority shareholders. We have Great Eastern, Holyoke Insurance. Okay, this is local owned. CIS, Manulife, Prudential, Cameroon, and Zurich. So here are the companies life. For general, okay, so notice they didn't use the word life insurance, they used the general insurance. So they have more ada lagi banyak. So some of the insurance company focus on the specific types of insurance saja. So contoh macam Q ni nanti dia mostly covers personal accident, travelling. Q ni, if you notice, Q is part of Air Asia. Top hotels lah. So they have also Tune Insurance. So local good. Connie Fernandez and punya partners. So dia selalunya covers atau caters for insurance related to travel. Dia beli airline tickets tu kan ada options kalau nak ambil travelling insurance ya. So, selalu hadap dengan Tune. Okay, so anything got to do with non-life punya insurance, we go to the general business. Okay. What else? Okay. So besides insurance yang kita selalu dengar, life general, ada yang combine life and general. Okay, this is reinsurance. Okay. We have reinsurance. So the life and general in one, and ada yang life sahaja. And also general sahaja. So what are the functions of reinsurance? Some insurance company have a paid up capital yang tak besar. Right, imagine macam ni lah. If satu insurance company ada aset bernilai 100 million, value of asset they have is 100 million. And there's one company yang nak insure dia punya assets, insure lah dia punya insurable assets tu, and the value is more than 100 million. Okay, so kalau lah this company tak ambil insurance, and insurance company tak ambil insurance, so meaning if the client yang dia insure tadi tu, yang asset dia more than 100 million, if they want to claim, so this insurance company akan tutup kedai terus, because the asset is only 100 million. So bila lah kalau customer dia claim, so the company will go bust ataupun dia akan go bankrupt sebab dia tak mampu nak bayar balik. Right? So that's why this insurance company sometimes, most of the time, dia akan reinsure. So reinsurance company ni basically to insure insurance company. So dia macam double, another layer of insurance. Okay, that's why for reinsurance, dia punya business tak seramai insurance company. So as you can see here, the reinsurance we have 7 je. 7. 2 Malaysian owned and 5 foreign control institutions. Similarly dengan takaful, dengan re-takaful lah. Kita dah combine je, 15. Still Malaysian owned. And for re-takaful, only 4 companies. And 3 of them are foreign owned. Okay, and lastly is the DFIs, Development Finance Institutions. You have 6 and 11. So apa? Dia bezakan DFI and others. So DFI ni special. Why I said special? Because dia ada akta lah kata tadi. There's a act for DFIs, and under this act, they mention nama institution yang ada dalam akta tu. Okay, so DFIs that prescribed under DFI Act 2002 ada 6. Bank Pembangunan, SME Bank yang I mention tadi, Exim Bank, Export Import Bank, Bank Rakyat, Bank Rakyat, Bank Kerjasama Rakyat Malaysia ataupun lagi famously known as Bank Rakyat, BSN as I mentioned tadi, Bank Simpanan Nasional, and lastly Bank Pertanian ataupun Agro Bank. So these 6 banks are tertakluk under DFI Act. Okay, and they are specialized institution, and money from government akan disalurkan to these institutions to be distributed for the targeted customers. Jadi kalau nak, nanti boleh baca kat sini. What are the firms? They are specialized financial institution established by the government with a specific mandate untuk help specific sector of the economy. Okay, SME lah, infrastructure, maritime, export-oriented, high-tech industries and so on. So setiap satu institution ni ada dia punya mandate. And besides these 6, okay, dia ada lagi additional. Okay, see, so under the DFI institutions, so some of them is part of the 6 tadi, macam Agro, Bank Rakyat ni semua dah ada. So selain daripada 6 tu, so dia ada macam MIDF, dia ada Sabah Development Bank, Sabah Credit Corporation, MTDC, MARA, KPUMB, PNS, all of these, kalau yang rasa semuanya is a badan yang memberi pinjaman ataupun financing to small medium enterprises. ACGC, PUMB, contohnya PUMB, one of the micro credit lender lah for small businesses. Even dia ada bagi pinjaman kepada student pun, bukan untuk student loan lah, untuk student buka business for example, they offer that kind of financing. Okay, so target is slightly different from one to another. Okay, so that's the financial institution, FI tadi lah, kita ada bank dengan non-bank. Alright, so I think I dah cakap lama ni. Kita take a short break lah. Take a short break before we continue a bit more of the financial institutions. Financial market, like I said, I takkan go through sebab financial market kita akan go through mostly in topic 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so financial market I akan skip for today. Yang ada securities commission tu. I akan focus more on the banking side. So I'll leave you for a while with this slide. So we take time. Okay, so let's continue the presentation. Okay, so we've gone through all the participants or the institutions related to all of these banking and non-banking institutions. Now, this is actually a summary that what we've discussed so far. Okay, so the banking systems comprise the commercial banks, investment banks, and Islamic banks. Okay, and and it's considered the primary mobilizer of funds with the in source of financing to support economic activities in Malaysia. So overall, we have about 2,000 branches across the country. So quite a lot there for branches. And if you remember, one of the section under the banking system is others, kan? So the others too includes these 14 representative officers of foreign banks, as I said earlier, who do not conduct banking businesses but undertake research, liaison services, and also exchange of information. So these are mostly the function which is considered as a non-banking activities. So as of now, we have 6 Malaysian banking groups. If you remember, kita ada 8 tadi kan, we have 8 uh, anchor banks. And out of these 8, 6 of them have presence in overseas operations. Okay, yeah, in 19 countries, in Southeast Asia and as far as in UK as well. Some of the banks, like the banks, AIB, have their branch in UK, including representative office as well. Okay, either in a direct ownership or sometimes via subsidiary and also joint venture. So, for example, in Indonesia, their banking regulations requires local bank, sorry, international banks to co-own with the local bank. So that's why most of the banks ataupun the Malaysian banks who wants to operate in Indonesia has to joint venture with the local bank there. For example, CIMB, they have CIMB Niaga in Indonesia. Okay. And for non-bank, as I mentioned, we have the DFIs, insurance companies, and these institutions, the function is to complement, okay, to complement the banking institution, because the banking institution cannot cater for everyone, right? And therefore, they need the non-bank financial institutions to complement. So the keyword here is to complement. It's not substitute, right? It's not to replace, but to complement. So we need to complete the other side of the economy. Right? So we have insurance and reinsurance companies to conduct the life and general insurance together with Takaful and Takaful. And in terms of office and branches, um, as you know, the insurance and Takaful businesses is not really operates like the banking, whereby they are more focusing on agents. So that's why in terms of branches, insurance and Takaful operators doesn't have a lot of branches, but move they operate using agents. So that's why you will see some big agents. They can set up companies, and these companies is actually as agency companies and provide insurance and Takaful products to the client. Okay. Unlike bank, whereby the bank involved directly with the customer, but for insurance company, they usually operates via agency. So there's a one layer institutions under the Takaful insurance companies. Right. Um, yeah, I will skip the Islamic financial institution for time being. You can read on your own. I want to focus on the FI next after the banking and non-banking. One of the non-banking element is the DFI, Development Finance. As I mentioned, it is a specialized financial institution established by the government with a specific mandate. If you notice, this is basically the extraction from the Bank Negara website tadi. It includes the agricultural, SMEs, infrastructure, and so on. And the act that we use to govern in terms of the development financial institutions are known as the DFIA, Development Financial Act 2002. And this will give Bank Negara the regulatory and supervisory framework. Okay. And the bank was appointed. Okay, again, when you use the word the bank here refers to Bank Negara Malaysia, was appointed as the central regulatory and supervisory body for the advice. Okay, so here are the six, if you remember just now, six DFI prescribed, okay, under the DFIA, the Finance Institutions Act. We have the Agro Bank, SME Bank, Bank Pembangunan Malaysia, Exim, Bank Rakyat, and also BSN. And down here, for every bank, under their logos here, indicates the mandate. Okay, remember I used the word mandate just now. The target customers. So for example, for agro, accept savings and also provide financing. Okay, the two elements, the deposits and also financing to support the agricultural sectors. Okay, very specific for agriculture. For SME, the target to the SME size, especially in manufacturing and construction. Okay, but not subject to these two. Sometimes they may offer to other industries as well, as long as they are part of SMEs. For Bank Pembangunan, Malaysia Berhad provides financing to infrastructure projects, maritime, and also capital intensive and high tech industries. Right? Exim, mostly number one Exim, export import, they are focusing more on exporting companies who wants to export. Okay, export facilities, okay, including insurance as well. Bank Rakyat encourage savings to the members because this is part of cooperative bank. Okay. And lastly, Bank Simpanan Nasional focus on retail banking and personal finance for small savers. Okay, that's why BSN usually you will see in rural area. Okay, walaupun in town they have, but they focus on rural areas. Really out of town locations and it involve microfinance as well. Small loans to small businesses. Okay, so this is the advice. Right, I will not go into detail all of this because I have one task for you later on. Commercial banks, Islamic, I just a bit now. Okay, and I will revisit this in respective topics because we will have this in respective topics later, commercial and investment bank especially. And the final part of today's lecture is actually I want to share with you the intermediation function. Okay, in a banking business, you need to understand very simple rule ataupun the very simple relationship, okay, between the bank and also the customers. Okay. When we talk about intermediation, meaning we will have intermediaries. Okay, orang tengah, intermediaries. So bank, I just put here bank lah. It can be the banking system or the non-bank as well. So I just give one example. Bank will be the middleman, the intermediaries, and they will sit in the middle. Like this. Okay, so this is very important. You get this idea, you technically know how the bank works, and you can apply this concept to all bank and also non-bank as well. Okay, bank is the intermediaries. Okay, that's why they do the intermediation function. So they'll be in the middle. So when we talk about in the middle, obviously there will be one party on the left-hand side and another party on the right-hand side. Okay, so the first party that will communicate with the bank is known as those with Kita letak dia sebagai source, source of fund. Source of fund. So who are those with source of fund? Those with excess funds. Those who with excess funds will go to the bank. They will go to the bank. What they do, they will deposit. Ini bukan arrow lah sebenarnya, this is reference. They will deposit money to the bank. When you have excess cash, you have excess funds, you go to the bank and you keep your money there with the expectation of returns. So bank will give back to the source of fund in form of return. It can be in the form of interest, can be in the form of dividend. Okay, so the source of fund, I will deposit money to the bank, and bank will use the money, and any returns will go back to the source of fund. Okay, so bank will pool the money. The function bank will pool funds. Imagine if the whole country put their money in the banking system. Okay, so they have a lot of cash now. They have a lot of funds. So what they do with the funds, they will channel out. Okay, they receive the fund here. Next, the bank will channel out to the user of fund. Source ataupun who provide the money. So now we have the users of fund. So who are the users of fund? So users of funds, basically those who want to borrow money. Okay, so duit yang bank bagi, the banks provide money is not from the bank's own money. The money actually come from the source of fund, the depositors. Okay, and this money the bank will pool and they will channel it to the users of funds. Okay, so they will channel in the form of financing. They will channel in the form of financing. What users of funds needs to do? So they borrow money from the bank in the form of financing, and obviously they have to pay back to the bank, right? So the users of fund will pay back again the principal, the amount of money that they borrow, plus the interest. Okay, kalau conventional interest or profit to the bank. Okay. So generally, that's how bank function as intermediary. So I recap balik. Bank sit in the middle, receive money from depositors. Who are the depositors? Those with excess funds, where they put money in the bank in a various types of instruments. We have savings account, fixed deposits, everything. I will talk about it later in terms of the detail of products, but that's how the money transfer from the users of funds, from the sources of funds to the bank. Bank will pull the money from all corner of the country. They can pull the funds, and this money will be channeled in the form of financing. Okay, financing in normal term is loans. Okay, you have car loans, credit cards, what else? Housing loans, personal loans. Okay, all of those loans will be channeled to the users of funds. So users of funds usually those who have deficit funds, currently excess. So users of funds is mostly those with deficit. Okay, deficit funds. These deficit units needs to borrow money from the bank. And when they borrow money from the bank, obviously they need to pay back the principal, the amount of money they borrow, together with the interest and profit back to the bank. So how the bank makes money? bank makes money from the different rates. Okay, the different rates between money that they generated from the users and the amount of money that they have to pay back to the source of funds. Just imagine like this. I just give you one simple example. Bank collect their deposits, okay, from the source of fund, from the depositors, in a savings account. Okay, in a savings account, very simple account. And this savings account, uh, the bank will pay back to the depositors returns, and the rate I can give you is not more than 1% return, not more. In savings account, if not more than 7%, or for the sake of argument, I just put 1% returns. This is the amount of money that the bank needs to pay back the source of fund to the depositors, 1%. So imagine if they have 100 million worth of deposits, they just need to pay 1% of this to back to the depositors, just 1%. Okay, and this money, the 100 million, will be pulled in the bank and will be channeled to the users of fund, okay, in the form of many loans. Imagine they can give up 100 million also in the form of financing. Yes, in case, for the sake of illustrations. And here, 100 million that they channel out to the uh, users of fund, they will charge interest. Remember, the one who takes loans have to pay back the principal, the amount of 100 million that they borrow, together with the interest. And this interest, they range between 3% to 18%, depending on products. If you talk about car loans, okay, about 3%. If you talk about housing loan, about 4%. If you have personal loan, 10%. Credit cards, 18%. So imagine they just have to pay back 1%, okay, but the bank can generate this amount of returns. So the difference between amount that they get from this transaction and amount of they have to pay back, okay, kalau kita take extreme ataupun we take in the middle, let's say about 10%. So the difference is the profits to the bank. So that's why for a bank, if they manage their bank properly, okay, they shouldn't get any loss. They should get profits every day. So that's why you can go to the news. Say I share with you, Google something. There will be some pressures, currently maybe because of the economic situation, uh, a lot of banks facing financial difficulties during the pandemic, right? But still, they will make profits somehow, even though this fall, meaning it's not lost yet, but in terms of compare between the last year, they have a decrease in the form of profits, but usually the bank will generate loads of profits, okay, because of the simple mechanism, not simple, I mean, yeah, this is the simplest form of explanation. What is the intermediation functions, okay, between the source of fund and the users of fund. So you can read back the functional financial system as a intermediary, and they will channel their resources from one party to another party. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we have the deficit units and the surplus unit. This is the source of fund. This is the users of fund. And it depends on the institutions. This is the intermediaries. It can be banks, it can be insurance companies, it can be pension fund holders. Okay, so the concept is the same. right? They will receive money from the surplus because the surplus units are the excess funds, and these excess funds will be deposited in a form of various products. Okay, depository institution, including bank, you can put back here. So deposit, it can be savings, it can be current account, it can be FD, for example. And they will channel to the deficit units. For depository, it will be financing, okay, so together with other companies because we don't have finance company anymore. Okay, yeah. So that's how it works in terms of the concept of financial intermediation. So I will not go through this. Okay, this is things that we will discuss in topic 3 and 4 later on, the overview of financial markets. As I mentioned, we have 4 different markets, which is important. Money market, short term, capital market, long term. Okay, how short? Less than 1 year. This is more than 1 year. Or no maturity. Okay, derivatives usually used for risk management. And offshore market provides banking services to non-residents. Non-residents. Okay, each and every details of the markets will be discussed, like I said, in the respective topics. Okay, right. I think that's about it that I want to discuss with you today. But I will leave you with one task. See. Right. So we have 9 groups. These all. Of the list that we have here in the group, right? Okay. Even though I asked you to choose one bank, right? Okay, but for the first task here, you will not uh, research on your bank yet. Okay, but I will use the bank names as indicator of your groups. Okay. I have CIMB, bank. So for those that are the group, please find your group immediately because most of the group I think here already occupied with 4 members. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 groups altogether. Right. So if we go back to the banking institutions, the financial institutions here, count it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I just follow according. This is quite random juga lah. So CIMB needs to research on commercial bank. Young, please research about Islamic banks. Bank, research about investment bank. Alliance. So I just lump everything. Teachers, you see, development finance. Okay, so we have 9 groups altogether. Okay, I label you guys according to the banks that you've selected. And remember, for this first task, you don't have to research about your own banks yet. Okay, but in fact, I want you to research or find out information about the respective institutions that are labeled here under the banking and also non-banking institutions. We have commercial, Islamic, investment, life insurance, general insurance, reinsurance, takaful operators, re-takaful, and also DFIs. So what I want you to find, first I want you to find in the form of the functions, the functions of the respective institutions. Okay. Number two, example of products. Okay. And lastly, um, example of companies. Okay, it's very simple. I don't want you to do a lot of things. I just want a one-page infographics. Okay, what is the task? A one-page infographic. Okay, what is infographic? You Google what is infographic. It's just like a poster. Okay, and what do you need to explain in the infographic? One page poster infographic. It must consist of all three here. It must specify what are the functions of respective institutions, example of their products, okay, and also example of the companies. Okay, macam commercial bank tadi we have 26 banks, kan? So you can list down, I don't know, according to your creativity to fill in the infographics, some example of the companies. Okay, so the functionally you try to summarize it, the very important function, because a lot of companies sometimes they have too many functions. So you just elaborate ataupun you try to explain it, the core functions of the companies, the most important parts. Okay, you can have some of the information maybe in my notes, some maybe online. So use your creativity. So I'll give you 1 week to do this. Okay, so the deadline would be next Monday. Okay, so everybody can snap. Everybody can snap. Thank you very much. So yeah, this is basically last one. Last one. So for those who yet to have a group, contact your colleagues, your classmates. Look for any vacancy. Right? Else, so I foresee because our number is odd, right? We have 39, so maybe the one have to join any existing groups. So whoever wants to accept additional member, the one odd member just update in the group lah. Okay, So remember, just one page infographic. Okay, one page infographic. I don't want to do many. It's not slides for the infographic. Right? Just find any tools that you can use. Ada banyak infographic tools. Tapi you learn it somewhere. Ada Canva. We have a lot of. You just Google infographic tools, and yeah, use your creativity, and we expect it next week, and we can share among each other nanti. And for our quiz number 1, all information will be based on your output. So the question will revolve around all of these 9 institutions. Okay, so hopefully your information too can help each other to answer the quiz number 1. The online quiz later on. So quiz number 1 tu akan revolve around this. And hopefully your information too covers the areas, but it's all revolve around functions, the products, and also example of companies. Okay, so functions ni you can explore. It can be in terms of sometimes you can add on in terms of history. Yeah, whatever yang relevant to the functions. Okay. Any questions? So some share. PKPP in Selangor. Okay. So today will be my last day in office, I think. So I will be locked down. I hope it's yeah, sure. Oh, who's full? Can I join any? Yeah, like I said, we in the system we have 39. 39 members. So if you take 9 times 4 is 38, right? Yeah, 36. Yeah. So there will be some groups yang akan ada 5 orang. So ataupun the remaining members can create another group. Meaning yeah lah. So maknanya yang the 3 remaining ni just go join whichever groups that we have here lah. So we just keep 9 groups. Okay, whoever who has not have access to groups, please find your groups within these 9 saja. I will just limit to these 9. And I shared also earlier the WhatsApp group.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, so just join the WhatsApp group and try to find whichever groups who are willing to accept you guys. All right, any other matters? It's for the theory.
No question, Doctor.
All right. So, right, thank you very much for coming. Yeah, remember the just give you. So next week will be the deadline. Just one page, and remember, just one page. Very simple, informative information, because this information will be distributed among you guys sebenarnya nanti to be used as a notes. Okay, and the first quiz, a simple quiz sebenarnya, revolve around the information that I asked you to find, and hopefully that information that you find out and then share with each other will help you guys to answer the first quiz. All right, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, Doctor.
Doctor.
Thanks.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome.